political thuggery and savage military absorb them as big threats to their
Destabilise the region further.
Some of them are sick and some of them are dying. They have precious little shelter, precious little food. And what they all keep asking me is why can't the world do more to help them?
Sanctum is a one-man show created by Quite Right Theatre, which tells the story of George, a young man from Kosovo, and his life in the years leading up to the Kosovo War in 1999, and how he subsequently becomes a refugee in Sheffield.
The events he goes through are based on real-life experiences, which I've gathered from people I knew personally. These were family members and friends who had been through the war. I was a refugee myself, but fortunately I didn't experience the hardships that most Kosovan refugees have been through.
Kemi marrë të qanta dhe mi dërgu për tej konvojt policisë. Nëse të arrim nga bëni atë në sukses, andaj nashta!
People being taken away from their homes, mass killings across villages in the north.
You only get to see and experience what's going on in a country like that through CNN or BBC News for like a short coverage. Then sort of life carries on and you forget about it.
Edhe inshallah kur ta shohim plasin prej natit. Se si jena tu tut pitën jo. Ne ta din çata.
Many of the scenes are presented in Albanian, since they are moments which he relives, moments of his past in his childhood, teenage years.
Ariana! When I thought of peace, I would think of a picture of white doves they would show in school books.
In our story, George, when he becomes a refugee in Sheffield, he finds it very difficult to settle.
He's tormented because he's not there with his family. He's very worried about where his family is, whether or not they're okay, alive. He finds it very difficult to gain trust.
Distance myself from all the Kosovans. I had no one.
I think about it, maybe when I think about what my parents went through and how hard it was for them to fit in a new society with a new language, and being deprived of the opportunity to go back home. That's the closest I get to feeling the hardship of being a refugee.
Sanctuary. It's actually not so easy to define. Just because the bombs are no longer falling, and there's a roof on top of your head, and enough food to keep you from going hungry, does not mean you're any closer to finding it.
It was a piece that celebrates or commemorates a time in Sheffield's history that I was particularly proud of, when the community came together and welcomed and accommodated these Kosovan refugees and helped them through what was an incredibly traumatic time.
Is that so? This is the north of England. Big Ben here. No, Big Ben, London. Good. This is the magical land where puddings are eaten with meat, where they refer to their friends as ducks, and is the mighty birthplace of our one Lord Saviour, JC. Jarvis Cocker.
It's a story of survival. It's a story of survival and how this individual character survives the trauma.